Hello, and welcome back to Ant's Gaming Suite. This is your host, Anthony, and today's video, we are going to be talking the top 10 tips and tricks you should know before playing God of War Ragnarok. But without further ado, before we jump straight into the content, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and also leave a comment down below if these tips has helped you out. Also, keep in mind, or be alert, there is video content from the game of the story, so be sure if this is not something you're going to be looking out for, then maybe don't avoid watching this video. Once again, spoiler alert, as I have already mentioned, so click away if you have already not played the game for the first 25 minutes. Anyway, so the ultimate father-son duo is back again to put an end to all the wars in the epic follow-up of the original 2018 God of War. Kratos and Atreus are once again ready to take on the powerful god using their old ways. The gameplay plays out in pretty much the same way as its predecessor, but a lot of the things have changed since the last entry. However, one thing that does remain unchanged in this new entry to the God of War is the challenges that you will have to face while trying to survive in this unforgiving world filled with brutal enemies and new bosses and whatnot. And to help you make it out alive in you and your young one, we have to prepare an extensive list of the top 10 tips and tricks that everyone should know before playing the game God of War Ragnarok. With that said, hit that like button and let's get started into the first tip on the list. Tip number 1, get familiar with the story. If you are new to God of War or you have been out of touch with the series for some time, one of the most important things to do before you start playing the game is to learn about the backstory by watching the complete recap that is available at the start of the game. This way, the whole storyline would make so much more sense to you as you progress through the journey and meet some old and new faces, come across very familiar quests and which connects the two duo together. So that is tip number 1 for me. Tip number 2, exploration is important. With the backstory out of the way, the next thing to keep in mind as soon as you step into the unforgiving land of Ragnarok is exploration. It's always been one of the defining features of the game, and quite rightly so. Most of the fun stuff in this game has to be properly explored. You can stumble upon important things like lore scrolls, hidden chests and treasures, rare collectibles, even side quests that may give you better armor, so it's important to keep your eyes peeled at all times when you do your exploration and move forward in the world of Ragnarok. Tip number 3, side quests are a must. Unlike many other games, Ragnarok actually pays a lot of attention to the side quests. Even though they are called side quests for a reason, they are actually pretty important for you to progress in the game. Side quests in Ragnarok are known as favors, and completing them rewards you with rare items and powerful weapons that can use to fight enemies more efficiently. You can also easily find these side quests by looking for dark blue icons on the compass or the map on the game. Tip number 4, father-son duo combat. One of the first things that I have, I guess one of the best things having a son in this game who can fight is that you can get this help with things as things get intense. After all this is what you've been training him for all these years, you can all call him, I guess, pressing the square button on your controller to give him a bombardment of arrows or whatnot to help you out with enemies. However, this strategy can be super useful if the timing is on point. Tip number 5, strategic healing is a thing. Ragnarok can be pretty unforgiving when it comes to the combat and boss fights, and you will die a lot before you start to get the hang of it. But there are always ways that you can increase your chances of winning the battles by getting yourself fully healed before the fight. You can do that by deliberately dying in the battle early or to get a fresh start, or using the Mystic Getaway to get a quick healing. It's nothing of a game changer, but it can still help you win more fights than losing than you should. Tip number 6, Don't forget about the lost item chest. The other important tip that I'm sure will come in handy for you and in many situations is frequently checking the lost item chest. It's one of the first things that you should get introduced to as you begin your journey in Ragnarok. This chest will actually hold all the important items that you might have left behind in the heat of the battle. You can always go back to this chest and find items that might have been used for you in the future game, or later in the game actually, I should say. Norne chest helps level up stats faster, which is tip number 7. One of the best ways to level up your man's creator stats is by opening Norne's chest. These chests often present you with the not so complex environmental puzzles in exchange for a horn of blood mead or an apple. Hygiene apple. Pretty much the latter helps increase your maximum health by a certain amount, and the former increases your overall rage meter, which is the horn of blood. Both are important in making your character more powerful and stronger in the game. Tip number 8, just 3 more to go. Tip number 8. Choose your enemies wisely. As beginners, we often end up taking on enemies that turn out to be way more powerful than we anticipated, and it's something that I do myself as well. But there's actually a way to avoid getting stuck in these situations by paying attention to the colors of the enemy's health bar. The enemy with a purple color health bar indicates that it's actually more powerful than you. The orange one indicates that the enemy has a similar rank as you, and the green one pretty much indicates that the enemy has a lower rank than yourself. So keep those 3 tips in mind, those 3 colors, purple, orange and green. Green is good, orange is okay, and purple you better run away. Tip number 9, sell artifacts and buy gear. During your journey through the lands of Ragnarok, you will come across tons of different collectibles spread across the 9 realms. While it's important to collect these, you are not supposed to hold on them forever. You can actually sell these artifacts for quite a significant profit, and you can use that extra hack silver to buy new gears or upgrade old one. This tip can come in handy when you are running low in cash. So if you do get those collectibles and artifacts, make sure you sell them for the extra cash. Tip number 10, which is the last one, don't forget to train. Last but definitely not least, one of the best things that you can do as a beginner to improve your playstyle in this game is training. Niflheim is one of the earliest realms that you can get access to, and it offers a diverse training area with many different enemies that you can fight and test out your combat strategies before taking on the real challenge. You can practice your combos and skills for as long as you want, but keep in mind that it doesn't add to your gaming experience, and it's more to work out the combo or the controller if you're playing like a PS5. But anyway, that is pretty much my tip. Those are the 10 tips for the game of God of War Ragnarok. With that, we have reached the end of it all, and I'm sure these tips and tricks will help you get a better understanding of what to do and what not to do in God of War Ragnarok. But more importantly, you should enjoy your time in this amazing adventure without having to worry about the progression too much and whatnot. I hope you learned something new, and if you did, make sure to leave a subscribe button, leave a like on this video, leave a comment section down below if there's anything that you agree or disagree or want to share to help the community out, then make sure you do so. And that's it for today, and I'll see you guys in the next one.